Saluton from BA. This is a Rorschach Multilateral update from the 13th of August 2024. A summary of what's going down in the world's major multilateral institutions. To kick things off, a Russian reconnaissance aircraft flying over the Baltic Sea triggered a response from NATO. This led to the deployment of fighter jets from Sweden, northern Germany, and the NATO Baltic Air Policing Mission. The jets were dispatched to safeguard Alliance airspace and escort the Russian maritime reconnaissance plane out of the region. The NATO response was announced on Saturday the 10th. Although Russia's military flights in international airspace are in line with aviation regulations, the German military highlighted that these aircraft often operate without transponder identification signals, rendering them invisible to civilian air traffic control. There have been several previous incidences involving Russian military vehicles entering the territory of NATO countries after Russia invaded Ukraine. These encounters received notable press coverage, though none have resulted in broader military conflict. Also concerning Europe, the spokesperson of the EU's Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Peter Stano, has lauded Armenia for making significant strides in reforming key sectors under its agreement with the European Union. In an interview released on Friday the 9th, he highlighted the importance of the 2017 Comprehensive and Enhanced Partnership Agreement between Armenia and the EU. Stano noted that the agreement is vital for advancing democratic and political reforms, boosting economic growth, creating quality jobs, attracting investment, and enhancing living standards. More broadly, the agreement covers trade, governance, justice, human rights, and environmental protection. It emphasizes the importance of aligning Armenia's policies and regulations with EU standards, fostering closer economic integration, and enhancing Armenia's capacity for modernization and sustainable development. The agreement also respects Armenia's existing international commitments, including its membership in the Eurasian Economic Union, demonstrating a balanced approach to its foreign relations. Ukraine's economic stability remains a key focus of multilateral institutions. On Friday the 9th, Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, commended Ukraine's efforts in carrying out a comprehensive economic reform program amid significant challenges. Backed by the IMF, this program is aimed at stabilizing the nation's economy and financial system, restoring debt sustainability, and supporting Ukraine's journey toward EU membership. The IMF has provided almost $17 billion in funding, which is part of a broader $122 billion external assistance package that includes contributions from both public and private sectors. Georgieva highlighted that the reforms focus on managing official and external commercial debt, securing continued external financing on favorable terms, and advancing fiscal consolidation. On to conflict in the Middle East. The Palestinian Authority is reportedly aiming to secure a United Nations General Assembly resolution that would declare Israel's presence in the West Bank and East Jerusalem illegal. According to a report released on Saturday the 10th, the Palestinian Authority plans to ask the General Assembly during its upcoming session in New York next month to endorse a recent International Court of Justice decision. This ruling deems Israel's control over Palestine as illegal and calls for Israel to withdraw from these areas. Different institutions of law are putting pressure on Israel over its handling of the war in Gaza. On Friday the 9th, the International Criminal Court decided to publicly disclose the discussions related to the potential issuance of arrest warrants for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. The court has directed prosecutor Karim Khan to either submit a motion to make his request for the warrants a public document or to resubmit it with the required redactions. Turkey has made similar efforts using the International Court of Justice, or ICJ. On Wednesday the 7th, Turkey submitted documents to the court seeking to join South Africa's case against Israel, which addresses allegations of genocide related to the Gaza conflict. By taking this step, Turkey becomes the first NATO member to challenge Israel at the ICJ, potentially adding pressure on Israel to negotiate a ceasefire with Hamas amid the conflict. Want to know more? Check out the Turkey update with the link in the show notes. Let's move on to Africa. On Friday the 9th, West Africa's Chiefs of Defense Staff urged Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to rejoin the Economic Community of West African States. Earlier this year, these countries, under military governance, announced their immediate withdrawal from the alliance, claiming the organization threatened their sovereignty. The regional defense leaders stressed that the return of these nations is vital for tackling the pervasive insecurity and insurgency affecting the area. Artificial intelligence can bring international problems, but it is also being used to find solutions. On Friday the 9th, the African Union Executive Council approved a new continental artificial intelligence strategy aimed at boosting AI adoption in both the public and private sectors across member states. The strategy, which had previously received backing from African ICT and communications ministers in June 2024, is intended to leverage AI for the continent's advancement and the enhancement of its citizens' lives. More than 130 African ministers and experts endorsed the framework for integrating AI technology across the region. In other news, on Friday the 9th, Chiang Ra, the Cambodian health minister, highlighted the essential role of a partnership between the United States and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations in confronting mutual health challenges. He stressed that the collaboration is geared towards reinforcing health systems to improve emergency responses and foster a healthier, more resilient future for all. A significant result of their recent discussions was the approval of a health cooperation plan, which focuses on critical areas such as enhancing emergency preparedness, coordinating responses to health crises, and advancing collaborative health projects. On to the Americas, the Pan American Health Organization, or PAHO, has urged countries throughout the Americas, including the Caribbean, to bolster their surveillance efforts following the emergence of a new Mpox virus variant in sub-Saharan Africa. In its epidemiological alert issued on Friday the 9th, PAHO noted that while this variant has not yet been detected in the Americas, nations should remain vigilant for possible cases that could be imported. PAHO also pointed out that this new variant is associated with persistent transmission and has been seen affecting a wider age range, including children, compared to earlier outbreaks. After 3 years of negotiations, the UN General Assembly's Committee on Cybercrime has finalized a draft for a new convention as of Friday the 9th. This draft is set to be adopted by the General Assembly later this year, making it the first global legally binding framework on cybercrime. This milestone marks the end of a 5-year process involving extensive collaboration among UN member states, as well as input from civil society, academic experts, and the private sector. The UN Office on Drugs and Crime provided essential support as a substantive secretariat during the negotiations. While the UN cannot enforce laws directly, it can facilitate the development of comprehensive treaties and guidelines that member states can adopt, creating a unified approach to cybercrime. Through its agencies, the UN can provide technical assistance, capacity-building programs, and resources to help countries strengthen their cyber defenses and legal systems. Additionally, the UN can serve as a platform for dialogue, enabling member states to share intelligence and best practices, and coordinate efforts in investigating and prosecuting cybercriminals while also promoting the protection of human rights and privacy in the digital space. Lastly, on Wednesday the 7th, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, the World Health Organization's Director General, revealed that he will form an expert committee to evaluate whether the escalating spread of the Mpox virus in Africa should be declared a global emergency. In a press briefing held in Geneva, the Director General noted that with Mpox cases increasing beyond Congo, he has opted to consult independent experts for prompt guidance on the situation. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Are you a long-time listener? Would you like to get some more in-depth episodes and interviews? Do you have any topics in mind? Something specific about the multilateral update that you want to know more about for us to do a special show on? We want to do some new things very soon. Please email us at info@rorschach.com with your suggestions. See you next week.